Hey, what's going on, everybody? Uh, Hope you're having a good day out there. It's the Barbecue Network. A little bit of a late night with the live stream that I was participating in. We had a very active live stream chat, and hope everyone out there is having a terrific day. I'd like to say hello to some of the early subscribers and people on the channel. TH out of Finland, Meh out of Morocco, um, Me Up out of Australia, and of course everyone else who's recently joined, and then of course David Cabrera, I believe that's your name. And you're very happy to have you on board. I'm going to be involved in the Robert Meyer Burnett chat a little bit later today, if that is if I'm available when it's occurring. I've been talking a little bit to Robert Meyer Burnett. He really is quite a character, and I figured I would put together a couple of live stream reviews in the morning here today. It's pouring rain outside, so can't really do much. Even when it stops raining, it's a little too wet to walk or anything like that. So we're gonna have to wait a little bit, aren't we, pup? Yeah. So without any further ado, let's review a couple movies, shall we? A Kiss Before Dying is a very good blank from hell thriller that is a remake of A Kiss Before Dying from the 1950s. That film starred Robert Wagner. Now, Robert Wagner was later accused of killing his wife, Natalie Wood. And that's basically what this movie is about, is that, in the first several scenes, he kills his wife and inherits her money, and then attempts to kill the twin sister of his wife and romance her and kill her in order to get all her money. So it's a super rich family. He grew up in the shadow of all their wealth across the tracks and was obsessed with becoming part of their family. Once he's friends or befriends the brother of these sisters, he dies, I believe, in a drug overdose. This guy sees his opportunity to become upwardly mobile. So I'm reviewing just the Matt Dillon 1990s Sean Young movie. And I find that aspect in it is really well done. You get the social climbing performance of Matt Dillon, where he'd do anything to get in a room with Max von Sydow, who plays Sean Young's father, who obviously misses his son and wanted an heir to his company and all that. And the way it works out is, the son's passed, and once Matt Dillon starts interacting with Sean Young more, they start developing a relationship. So I guess I should go back a little bit. The movie stars the three people I said mainly: Max von Sydow, Sean Young, and Matt Dillon. And also stars Martha Gaiman, who was in I think I mentioned her in one of my videos earlier or sometime. And Martha Gaiman was in The Legend of Billie Jean, starring Helen Slater, among others. And Martha Gaiman has also been in some other films as well, but also very notably from FX. So there's that going for it. Now, the director, his name slips my mind right at the moment, but he hasn't done a whole bunch. He's actually the screenwriter of Fatal Attraction and made, as far as I know, either a film or a short film or two before actually directing A Kiss Before Dying. Now, A Kiss Before Dying is a critically panned movie. I think critics were being instructed to just beat down every Sean Young movie in that era. Some of them deserving it and some of it not. Matt Dillon has never been too popular of an actor with critics, except when he's in these independent movies such as Drugstore Cowboy, etc. And I could see how some people think his performance is a little stiff or something in it, but that's basically Matt Dillon. He's doing his best to play this character, and It's filmed in England, and or parts of it are filmed in England, shot for Pennsylvania. Some of it is filmed in Pennsylvania. Uh, some of it is filmed in studios in California. Um, what I really think is impressive about the movie, in addition to having Spike Lee's sister in the movie, which I never knew until recently, that's not really impressive. That's just a fact. But what's impressive about the movie is the kills. Opening kill of the movie, where he throws his wife off the building, is a totally awesome slasher scene. Not necessarily, the typical slasher scene, but like, yeah, man, he just marries this woman, and after they get legit married, at the whatever city hall or whatever, takes her to the top of the hotel or top of the building, and says, "Let me hold your legs," because she's kind of sitting awkwardly or whatever, and then he just throws her ass over apples over the building, and you see her legs fly up and her body crash through the glass, and you get some pretty good blood and reactions from everyone. Imagine that, some woman just falling through the building. So it's never really investigated, and he's classified as a widow. There's never any investigation saying, this and that, the husband may have done it. What I really like is when he moves on. Hey, what's up? When he moves on and starts trying to sarge up on Sean Young, those are very effective scenes. In fact, he literally tracks down anyone that would be able to pinpoint that he, is actually kind of fucking with her. He does so in a variety of ways. One, he hangs one of the other sisters' former boyfriends or whatever, and then Martha Gayman's character, she gets a little too wise about something regarding him, so the way he dispatches of her is really awesome, actually. So there's a couple other little things that happen in the movie, but mainly what I like about it is the score. I like everything about it, but I think the score's got a real dark, brooding tone to it, and shows the kid, growing up across the railroad tracks. Diane Ladd from a lot of David Lynch movies, other movies in general. Laura Dern's mother, she does a really cool performance as Matt Dillon's like birth mother, and it's very interesting to see the dynamic of how she sees his life, what he sees his life as, because he's scheming for years, or a long period of time at least, to kill these sisters and inherit this money, and he's well on the path to doing so. So I really do think the movie's quite strong. The scenes of tension between Sean Young and Matt Dillon, I don't think went over well with critics, but they go over well with me, because it's basically a controlling and abusive dynamic that's at play. And I find that Sean Young and Matt Dillon, they play into that pretty well. And the conclusion of the movie, it's got to wrap itself up. It has a pretty nice little set piece there at the train yard and everything like that, and definitely finds a pretty circumspect resolution to it, where everything's kind of put into a bow, I guess, but makes you wonder what Sean Young's character legit is going to be like after this experience of being fucked with by Matt Dillon on this really hardcore level. So much a hardcore level that he's fucking with her that basically she starts to realize that he was dating her sister and probably killed her, and then that she's married to him. So the once that he's no longer in the picture and she's going to be, in the post credits of this movie, I always wonder what her character would be like. In fact, at one point I wrote a screenplay called Survivors that was asking that very question. After all these people in these thrillers and horror movies survive, what then? They go to a survivor's remorse type group, or survival's, dealing with survival and anxiety and all that, and then they find, There's someone there that's actually there to take advantage of them and prey on them. I think that's an interesting concept. Her character is definitely one that I would think would be prone to getting preyed on again, because not only does she lose the trust of other, it's hard for her to trust people after that. I think it's going to be very hard for her father, who was already doubtful about people's interests in dating the daughters and all that. Very hard for her father not only to part with any more money, but to part with any more support for her failings, I guess you could say, romantically, because this whole expense of taking Matt Dillon into the family and eventually having him work for the company and all that, all that productivity is going to be lost now that, the way the movie resolves. So it's all these elements to the movie that I've always wanted to analyze a little bit further. Let me navigate away real quick. Hold on. Hold on. You're rallying up on me right now. Hold on, dude. We got a big singer here. Oh, it's too rainy to walk around right now, you big bubba. Don't you know that? So I had another movie that I put in the description. I really can't remember what the other movie review was. It was A Kiss Before Dying. And I wish I could remember. It's just a couple minutes ago. I'm back. The other movie I said I was going to review. Oh, Erin Brockovich. Sorry, it took me it took me a minute. So Erin Brockovich was made not too far from where I grew up, and part of my life I grew up closer to there. And it's a desert area, not a lot of water sources. And so this area called Hinckley, California, had a water crisis. And a woman named Erin Brockovich worked for a man named Albert Nasri, lawyer, attorney Nasri. It was through her dealings with working with that attorney that she ended up uncovering a major water pollution scandal where people were getting cancer from the water. In a nutshell, is the story of Erin Brockovich. And this is it's pouring rain again. This is a movie that was released in the year 2000, I believe, in the first half of the year. And it was a big sleeper hit. It was around the entire year, as far as I remember. And then also, hi, it's raining and I'm doing a video. Hi, no, those conditions aren't changing. Erin Brockovich, sit still, you big bubba. Hey, man. All right, we'll continue to walk, I guess. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to sit still. Hey. Rick back. Pouring rain, dude. So, look at that dog. How sweet she is. She just wants to be part of the love. Look at how sweet she is. Look at that little gargoyle. Yeah, little bubba. You're a good gargoyle. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. My pretty lovey-dovey. Beautiful dog. So Erin Brockovich, her as a character as portrayed by Julia Roberts, is sort of down on her luck, single mother, can't keep a job, dresses in a really a way that's gratifying to her but provocative to others. Gets a job somehow. Gets fucked up. Gets a bad car accident that fucks her up. And then somehow meets an attorney played by Albert Finney. Albert Finney was nominated for an Oscar for this film. After this film, he'd go on to be in a lot of other movies in that era, such as Big Fish. I believe he's in A Good Year with Russell Crowe. I really enjoyed this phase of Albert Finney's career quite a lot. Before the Devil Knows You're Dead with Philip Seymour Hoffman and Ethan Hawke. So may they both rest in peace, Philip Seymour Hoffman and uh, Albert Finney, who just recently passed. Albert Finney was a lion of a man, a very proud and dignified actor indeed. One of my favorites of all time, bar none. In fact, probably one of the more underrated actors of all time as well. So anyway, he does a terrific performance playing this older lawyer who gives her a big chance because he sees that she's got, you know, needs a job first of all, and also wants to help provide her, some kind of way to make money and also find some kind of trade that can help her in her life. So starts assigning her, and everyone in the office kind of resents her, obviously, because she's so different than them. So those scenes are really quite good, and seeing her overreact at times to things. You really realize this is an imperfect character, and the woman that it's based on was an imperfect person, and that it's some of the charm of the movie is seeing exactly how imperfect she is at times. This movie is directed by Steven Soderbergh, and I think it's pretty much his best movie because it's, you can say a lot of his movies are better or whatever, but this is a really watchable and informative and Oscar caliber film, as it was. It was nominated for several Oscars. Julia Roberts, having been nominated in the past, finally won for Erin Brockovich. But hard to believe that was 19 years ago that she won, and she's still in a lot of movies now and everything like that. But it's just kind of incredible. 19, almost 20 years ago that she won. More like 18, but it would be 20 years soon enough. Aaron Eckhart is in the film. He plays a man that she becomes interested in, and I don't know the real story of what went on between her and him, but the way that it's dramatized for the movie is that they're an off and on again relationship where she keeps kind of pushing him away at times. So I found that to be interesting relationship dynamic between the two. It really seemed quite real, whether or not you like the characters or anything like that. It seemed like, that it could be how things would be. I think Aaron Eckhart does his best with the role, but it's kind of a role. It's kind of thankless in a way. He's kind of the love interest for Julia Roberts' character. So I do like that dynamic where usually the man is, the woman has a smaller part, and the man, it's all about him. It's all about Erin Brockovich, and it's very little about him. In fact, him in real life, I'd like to research and see how they changed him, because he seems almost like a perfect cliche character. The man that's there for you when you get home, watches your kids, isn't a problem, and even has like some edge to him. So it's like, I don't know too many people like that exist. It seems a little bit like, dramatized. And in full disclosure, I became pretty good friends with the producer of this movie, and she was negotiating with me for a little while to make my story into a movie. She just basically develops things that are a little bit more up her alley. It wasn't a story that she could see how it could be brought to screen best, and I kind of agree, because I don't want to Erin Brockovich, my life story. I want it to be a different type deal, and she kind of wants to keep making Erin Brockovich style movies, even though she hasn't really made too many since the experience of making Erin Brockovich. She made a movie called Extraordinary Measures, starring Harrison Ford and Brandon Fraser, and that one was a complete box office flop, sadly. And I don't really know what she's working on next, but I could definitely find out. But yeah, I appreciated all the things that she did, and to pass on my story, or to move my story on to other people that would be a better fit. It was a real mitzvah by her. I think the movie is extremely well produced. Her husband, Michael Shamberg, did a lot of the major production work for this movie, for Pulp Fiction, for so many different films. I mean, Jersey Films is the label that they put this out under. I should mention that. They produced some of the Tarantino films, and it's, I believe, Danny DeVito's company. So yeah, if you've never seen Erin Brockovich, definitely check it out. She starts uncovering information about water pollution and things like that. It's sort of like Fire Down Below, the Steven Seagal movie, but without the action. So as our, Steven Seagal's piecing together the levels of the pollution and everything, it kind of has a similar flavor to that. Um, and getting these people in rural areas to trust either lawyers or investigators, it's a very uphill battle. And Erin Brockovich, what is the strength of it also is her ability to interact with people. So she's able to get these people to sign on to be part of the class action lawsuit, even though, there's pressure from the community and others for them not to do that. But yeah, I mean, in terms of a legal or conspiracy thriller or conspiracy drama, this is basically one of the better films of its genre. I really appreciate Erin Brockovich's performance, or Julia Roberts' performance. She became so associated with that character and that, uh, you know, unique style of clothing and everything that she has in this movie. That the next couple of years after that, she was in a lot of other movies and stuff like that. And she kind of picks and chooses her projects nowadays. I think she has children and everything like that, but she really shines in this movie. Sometimes you see historic performances where a best actress wins an Oscar and you can say, oh yeah, it's good, but who else was in that year? I don't know. I mean, I could look back and see who else was nominated that year, but they definitely, if they deserve it, they deserve it, but they don't deserve it over Erin Brockovich, Julia Roberts. Julia Roberts knocked the role out of the park. And I feel the DVD's got some pretty cool information. I think it shows the real Erin Brockovich on it, and has some commentary and information from the producers about how the movie was made and its development process. Definitely some really informative stuff on that. I didn't mention my A Kiss Before Dying. A Kiss Before Dying doesn't have any special features on it. In fact, I have it on a 2-disc DVD. Erin Brockovich, I have it on a 1-disc DVD, and I find it to be a really cool little DVD. Informative, and like I said, I hope they make another special anniversary one so they can celebrate the performance of Albert Finney a little bit more and maybe put some reminiscences by the cast and everything about if they enjoyed working with him, which I'm sure they did. He seemed like quite an interesting man for a variety of reasons. So that's Erin Brockovich. Aaron Eckhart's in it. But mainly it's the Julia Roberts show as she starts uncovering this conspiracy and doing investigation. And, at one point she's about to be fired because she just keeps going to UCLA and doing research in their library and thinking that it's authorized, but she's got to learn accountability. She learns basically that, Albert Finney's got her back, but she just got to keep him abreast of everything that's going on with her and the investigation and stuff. So some important lessons in the movie as well. I think it's a morally important movie, and definitely enjoy it. I think it sometimes maybe gets a little bit of a bad rap. But sorry, I got a call coming in there. But it's a little bit of a bad rap. I don't really know why. I'll feel like Erin Brockovich, but no, it doesn't deserve any of that. It deserves only praise. It's a very, very tightly made movie, and one of the stalwarts of the genre. In fact, I think it's better than the overly dramatic China Syndrome. I think it's better than Fire Down Below, because that doesn't really get into these issues all that much. It's more of a surface level type thing. And it's better than, what was that one? Silkwood, talking about uncovering conspiracies and stuff like that. This movie is really positive, real. You could relate to the characters. You see their flaws. You see their innate ability to pursue the truth. And they're admirable and noble characters, even if they're not perfect. And that's what I really like about the movie Erin Brockovich. This has been pretty fun. I might pop on here and do another live stream in a little bit. But for now, we'll leave it at that. We did a review of A Kiss Before Dying. and also of Erin Brockovich. This has been a very fun show. And say goodbye, Mama. Bye, Mama. Oh, you're busy. You're looking for animals? Oh, yeah. Look at that face. All right. You have a great day, everybody. Talk to you soon.